Hi, I'm Mike, owner of the In-Groove in Phoenix, Arizona. Today I'm doing the new arrival video for July 25th, 2025. I only got about 70% of the stuff is coming out this week to be able to show you. Everything that's coming out this week came a couple of hours ago. So I tried to get the most important stuff, the key titles to show you guys this week. Unfortunately, a lot of it's going to get routed to next week's new arrival video, but there's a lot of killer stuff in here to show you guys. Big news. I think this has been out a couple of days now, but it was made official this morning. Buckingham Nicks is finally, after decades and decades and decades, getting reissued. And not only is it getting reissued, but it's getting reissued as a Rhino hi-fi and a non-Rhino hi-fi, which is really bizarre. So they're doing it as a Rhino hi-fi that comes out September 19th. But what's weird is it's also coming out as a non-Rhino hi-fi September 19th. And it's not mastered by Kevin Gray as well. So, okay, we've got the Rhino hi-fi all analog cut from the original master tape by Kevin Gray version that comes out September 19th. What is cool about this one is we're actually getting at the same time Rhino is. Now, Rhino had a numbered version of it, which sold out quicker than any other Rhino hi-fi title I think they've ever had. I mean, they went through 5,000 copies in a couple of hours. It was very quick. None of the Sabbats, television, nothing is sold out this quick. So this is going to be a really big title. But normally what they do is they do numbered copies of an album, and then they'll wait a little while, and then they'll allow brick and mortar stores to have unnumbered copies. This is unique in the fact that it's getting essentially a simultaneous release, but we're getting the unnumbered copy, of course, same exact thing. But they're doing a non-Rhino hi-fi version that's mastered by Chris Bellman. So there's going to be a Chris Bellman mastered version floating around out there that comes out the same time, blue, pink vinyl, blue or pink vinyl, maybe a black vinyl as well, but like you buy the Rhino hi-fi, like why would you save a few bucks to get the inferior version? This is a weird combination, but they're doing it. But yeah, really looking forward to that. I mean, that's an iconic record that has not been in print in so long. Original clean copies go for a couple $100 now. I mean, I remember when we first opened, they were still getting 50, 60, 70 bucks a piece 10 years ago. So that's an album that's always been expensive. It's always been in demand. Luckily for folks in Phoenix, that's a record that was relatively easy to find in the Valley. It was expensive, but it was easy to find. Stevie Nicks was, from here. Essentially, this was her home for 40 years. So there was a huge, big fan base here in like Southern California. So you found those records. But I remember going on the East Coast and people talking about that like it was the grail. Like you never saw them out there. But yeah, we're getting a wide release on that. It's going to be a big one. That's exciting. That's just one of those albums that's like a bucket list album for a lot of people that needed to be reissued. Now there's other Tool records, other things of that nature, but that's one of them. So that's one down. Didn't think that would ever get done too, because I think they hate each other. So how that ever got put together, I don't know, but we're getting it. New from Mobile Fidelity, we've got the Doobie Brothers Minute by Minute. That is coming out on vinyl, 45 RPM, and SACD with an arrival date to be announced, of course, probably a couple of months. This next title, again, another really cool title that kind of slipped underneath everybody's radar, but they're doing a John Coltrane, A Love Supreme. They're doing the mono version of it. I don't think this falls under any series. Like the last one, it was part of the Acoustic Sounds Verve title. I don't think this is, at least I'm not seeing anything to that effect. Also, it's $1 more, so it's $39.99, but it's all analog, cut from tape by Ryan, who did the stereo Verve release. But this looks like Rhino's doing it themselves, which makes sense. I mean, it's not a secret anymore how you do these things. You do a good pressing plant, you do a good mastering engineer, you cut it from tape, you have the jacket made, it's down. You don't need anybody else's help. That's it. That's the secret. And I'm guessing the secret's out. So we're getting that September 26th, called the Monophonic Edition. Mono copies of that record are really hard to find. We're getting a couple of records by Spinal Tap. We're getting the original soundtrack and Break Like the Wind coming out September 5th. Mariah Carey has a new record coming out. It's called Here for It All, coming out September 26th. Also, I will say, and I'll get right to showing you guys that, this Friday, the 25th, at 5 o'clock Arizona time, we're going to do a listening party in the store. Normally, in the store. normally listening parties are for records that are new up-and-coming indie artists that I don't really know a ton about. But this was cool because they're doing a listening party for Cal Tjader's Amazonas. This is a jazz dispensary title. It is all analog, cut from the original master tapes by Kevin Gray. So if you're in the store at 5 o'clock Arizona time, I'm going to play it on the hi-fi system, but there's also a bunch of stuff they mailed me to give away. So there's like tchotchkes, slip mats, yerba tea. It was a partnership with yerba tea. So they sent me cases of yerba tea. So we're going to have some cold yerba tea here we're handing out. It's actually really good, but I don't drink caffeine anymore, so I'm not going to drink it, but it's really good. Really like the yerba tea. But yeah, we're going to do an in-store listening party, and what better of a place to do a listening party at a record store than the In the Groove. You're going to listen to it on a $150,000 hi-fi system, just casually while you're perusing the store. But yeah, that is coming out. Put that over here. That is coming out this week as well. And we have the listening party for it. Don't forget, I have a Whatnot this Thursday. It's just our normal Whatnot from 5 o'clock Arizona time to 6 o'clock. Random things. No Whatnot this Saturday, but we will have our weekly Whatnot this Thursday. Okay. I think that's everything. It's been a crazy day. I'm a little disheveled. Okay, so we have some CDs. These are HM CDs from Paul McCartney. I don't do a ton with CDs, but I do audiophile CDs, Blu-ray CDs, Blu-ray audio CDs, SA CDs, indie exclusive autograph CDs. But these are cool, you know, audiophile HM CDs. We've got Paul McCartney's Flaming Pie, Paul McCartney's New. What is this? The Backyard, Chaos and Creation in the Backyard? Yeah. Chaos and Creation in the Backyard. Paul McCartney live at Amoeba. And Paul is Live. These are all Japanese SHM CDs, imports from Japan. So for a weird, kind of like hodgepodge later titles. I don't know why they offered those up. I'm wondering if they just decided to start there or if that's just where they decided to start distributing from, meaning like opening up for dealers to be able to purchase it. I don't know. Picked them up on a whim. Okay. The release that I am most looking forward to this week, and that is this. I did a standalone video on the last box set that came out, and I'll probably do one on this as well. This is the Talking Heads, More Songs About Buildings and Food Flood. So like the last box set, disc 1 is all analog, cut from the original master tape. Disc 2 in the box set is unreleased outtakes and B-sides, and disc 3 and 4 is an unreleased concert. This is from the Intermedia Theater in New York City, August 10th, 1978. And then there's a 60-page hardbound book. So very similar format to the first box set they did, 77. But yeah, this is awesome. I'm a huge Talking Heads fan. So I'm obviously going to get the box set because it has not only the analog cut, but it's the only way to get the live concert. The outtakes and rarities, I'll listen to them, but if that was all that was in this, I have to think about it. But the fact that it has an unreleased concert from like peak Talking Heads, this is a no-brainer. 100% going to pick that up and be listening to it tomorrow morning. Hotel California. This is a restock from Mobile Fidelity, the Mobile Fidelity One Step. Okay, so I've got it as a box set, but if you don't want the live concert, you can actually get just the standalone, what do they call this? It's still considered a deluxe edition because it has the album and it also has the bonus discs. So this is a 2 LP set. So you've got the all analog disc 1, and then you've got the rare and previously unreleased outtakes and B-sides. So I have the standard black vinyl version, and then I have the independent record store exclusive on red vinyl. Listened to this earlier today. Damn, I forgot how good of a record this is. This is The Cars, Shake It Up. This is a Rhino Reserve title. All analog, cut from the original master tape by Chris Bellman at Bernie Grumman Mastering. Really enjoyed that. These next two I need to listen to. I'm looking forward, to be honest, to Rick James more than the Fleetwood Mac. But we've got Rick James, Street Songs, Super Freak. This is limited to 4,000 copies. This is a 45 RPM, 2 LP set, but I love the fact that MoFi is doing audiophile soul records. Really looking forward to that. This is a title that we've had on pre-order forever. We finally got it in. The first pressing of these were defective. There was a mastering issue and they were essentially recalled, I guess is the word for it, but you know, it was an issue that they mentioned that there was a mistake in the mastering. They stopped production. People sent back their records and I think they got the replay. I think it was disc 1 maybe was the issue. But here it is, finally to mail out from Mobile Fidelity. Oddly enough, I think I mentioned this last week, you have the Mobile Fidelity 45 RPM version you can pick up, but they've also announced that they're doing a Rhino reserve of it, which is essentially this series. So that's coming out, I think, in a couple of months. So you can get the Mobile Fidelity 45 RPM version of it, or if you're so inclined, there is the Rhino Reserve coming out in the future. A title that the last time it was in the store, which was a couple of years ago, I sold it for 200 bucks. It was a used copy, and I got 200 bucks for it. But out of the blue, Mobile Fidelity reactivated the SKU in the system. That is the 45 RPM version of Billy Joel's The Stranger. Back in print. Updated cover. 15-inch IPS Dolby A analog master, DSD64 analog console to lathe. But other than that, it's the exact same thing that came out on the first time around. Back in print. They did an exceptionally good job with the Billy Joel. I loved the Billy Joel catalog when it came out. The Miles catalog was killer, and then the Bob Dylan. I mean, there was a point in time where they were doing these catalogs, and those three catalogs, they did a killer job on. 2 new OJCs. Ken McIntyre and Eric Dolphy, looking ahead. Beautiful, all analog, cut from the original master tape by Kevin Gray. Beautiful tip-on jackets. Fantastic job. I'm loving the OJC stuff. Benny Golson, Gone with Golson. Another OJC. Alison Krauss, Now That I Found You, a collection. Double platinum certified album from the 27-time Grammy winner. This is on Rounder Records. We've got the RSD Essential version of Mazzy Star, She Hangs Brightly. This is on aqua and black marble vinyl. RSD exclusive title. Then we have it on standard black vinyl. Then we have Among My Swan as an RSD Essential on bone-colored vinyl. RSD Essential titles are only available at independent record stores that I believe participate in Record Store Day. That's the only way you can get those particular versions. And I have it on black vinyl. From Rhino, we have Love, the Elektra Singles Collection. The definitive collection of Love's Elektra singles from 1966 to 1970. And what is super cool about this is they have actually done a die-cut cover. This is actually die-cut, and the red lettering you're seeing is actually the inner sleeve. Really cool. Kind of like George Harrison's Extra Texture. The Doors. Golden Doors Volume 2. Available for the first time in the US. This is a Japanese-only compilation of The Doors. Only available in Japan. They did it as a US release for the very first time. It's not a greatest hits, it's just the Doors compilation. Spanish Caravan, Horse Latitudes, Moonlight Drive, Wild Child, Land Ho, You Make Me Real, Touch Me, Tell All the People, Runnin' Blue, Wishful Sinful, The Soft Parade, and 5 to 1, if I didn't say that already. So clearly not a greatest hits, but what a fantastic compilation with a very cool jacket, artwork design. Gil Scott-Heron, Winter in America. Black vinyl pressing from the Culture Factory. I feel like this was supposed to be a Record Store Day release from like 2 years ago. Brand new Blue Note Classic Series title. Eddie Henderson's Heritage. This is all analog, cut from the original master tape by Kevin Gray. Another Culture Factory release. We've got Lightning Hopkins. Lightning is the name of this album. This is a two LP set, right? 2 LP set. Kind of confused me because I saw side 1 and side 2, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is it's behind the obi. Tells you side 3 and 4. John Lee Hooker. Boom Boom. First ever wide release on vinyl, sourced from the original analog master tapes, featuring Jimmy Vaughn, Robert Cray, Albert Collins, and Charles Musselwhite. Here we go. Alice Cooper fans out there? Then you probably know what I'm going to show you. This is the latest Alice Cooper. And this is the first time we've gotten an Alice Cooper release since the 70s. What do you mean, Mike? Alice Cooper comes out with records every couple of years. Yes, but this is the Alice Cooper group. Look at it. The Revenge of Alice Cooper. Alice, Michael Bruce, Dennis Dunaway, Neil Smith, and they actually, kind of similar to what the Beatles did on their latest release, they took some guitar work. I don't know if they had some stuff sitting in the can, but they actually got some guitar work by Glenn Buxton and put it on the record. So this has all 5 of the original Alice Cooper group members on it. A super cool cover. I love kind of the design of it. I met everybody on here except for Alice Cooper and Glenn Buxton. But I met Michael, Dennis, and Neil, and I'll never forget, I was talking to Michael Bruce, and somebody introduced me, hey, this is Mike. And Michael Bruce lives in town. Somebody introduced me, hey, this is Mike. He owns a really great record store in Phoenix. Very first thing Michael Bruce asked me is, where do you keep Alice Cooper? In the store, like in the rock section. He goes, no, do you keep it under Alice Cooper? You know, do you keep it in the C's or the A's? And I immediately knew what he was getting with. I'm like, no, of course I keep it in the A's because it's the name of the group. And he just smiled and he goes, I like you. But that was quite a few years ago, but I'll never forget that. That was a fun experience. Styx, Circling from Above. This is a brand new studio album on black vinyl. Elton John, live from the Rainbow Theater with Ray Cooper. This was a Record Store Day release in April, and here it is as a normal release. It was a Record Store Day first release, so we knew that it was coming in the future. Although that's not always guaranteed, but most of the time RSD first get a repress in pretty short order. Gary Newman, A Perfect Circle Live. This is a 3 LP set. Gary Newman goes down as the greatest concert I expected nothing from. I went to Gary Newman I saw him in town here at the Crescent Ball maybe 3 years ago. And I expected to go and hear a couple of tunes down at the park, cars, and I hadn't listened to Gary Newman outside of those couple of early Gary Newman records, Two Boy Army records. I hadn't really listened to Gary Newman. And I didn't expect much, and I thought I would go listen to a couple of great tunes. Cars is just a classic song. I'm like, this is going to be great. I'm going to listen to this. It's going to be fun. And that's what I was expecting. I was expecting absolutely nothing else. But man, that concert was killer from front to back. So this 3 LP set is actually probably going to be killer too. He put on a hell of a show. It was killer. The wig's a little off-putting, but the concert was killer. Paul Weller, Find El Dorado. This is on Parlophone. Quincy Jones, You Got It Bad, Girl. Featuring the sleeper hit, The Scene from the Sanford & Son. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Actually, this is a great record. Mofi did this back in the 80s. Classic renditions of Summer in the City and Superstition. And we've got Quincy Jones, Walkin' in Space, on 180-gram audiophile vinyl. This is done by Universal. Tyler Childers, Snipe Hunter. This is the Indie Vinyl Store exclusive on Oriole vinyl. Interesting cover. Just kind of checking out, taking it in, what's going on the front. Walking After Midnight, live at the Ryman, performing the music of Patsy Cline. This is by Mercury, on Mercury, the label. What do we got here? Dexter and the Monorocks, the double LP. This is the green edition, the double LP green edition, 2 LPs on 1 vinyl. Okay. Kind of like back in the 50s where they put 2 10-inch LPs. They started putting 2 on a 12-inch disc. For some reason, that's what they did there. Kurt Vile, Luke Roberts, Classic Love, the EP. Shut Up and Love Me, the debut album by Aiden Bissett. Aiden Bissett. Role Model, Kansas Anymore, The Longest Goodbye on Interscope. I have no idea what some of this stuff is. What genre is that even? Rock. Ravel, The Piano Works. This is a new record on Decca. Let's see, Ravel, The Piano Works. Limited edition, transparent bottle green vinyl. Wow, this is interesting. You don't typically, there's not a ton of new classical releases. And there's definitely not a lot of classical releases on colored vinyl. Olafur Arnolds and Talos, A Drawing is the name of this record. We've got the original motion picture soundtrack to Clueless. This is the 30th anniversary edition. I could do without the movie, but soundtrack looks pretty good. Nickelodeon's Avatar, The Last Airbender, Book 2, Earth. This is music from the animated series by Jeremy Zuckerman. Boy, she looks so innocent there, doesn't she? Hannah Montana, Miley Cyrus. Hannah Montana 3 and Hannah Montana Forever, songs from the hit TV series. 14 favorites from Hannah Montana 3 on collectible blue and pink splatter vinyl. There we go, Miley fans. We got, finishing off the video, a nice restock from Mobile Fidelity as well. I put some of the key titles in here. Santana 3. Simon and Garfunkel, Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme. I thought I saw an email that this particular title is now out of print. Bob Dylan, Greatest Hits. Kind of a must-own. This is fantastic. I love the sourcing information. Track-by-track source information available at mofi.com. Probably today, I know a lot of the stuff from the 60s is considered his best record. I think this is his best record. Bob Dylan, Blood on the Tracks. Kind of when I'm feeling like I want to listen to Bob Dylan, that's typically my go-to. I think his whole catalog was building to this moment, and then I feel like after that it was kind of somewhat downhill. Dire Straits, Love Over Gold, from Mobile Fidelity. Kebmo, self-titled. And then we have Foreigner's Head Games. Again, these tail end, oh, this is number 3,500 on the nose. These are just some Mobile Fidelity restocks. I will have on the website, and next week I'll show you on the video. I think there's about 20 more new releases that I should have in the store. But a ton of just absolute bangers. I just can't wait to listen to that Talking Heads concert. I probably played my last box set concert 20 times before I even brought it home. I just played the hell out of it in the store. All right, guys, you can buy all this stuff online at the website theingroove.com. Until next time.